Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Anyone, anyone with special cheaper than the one that they produce, the Dangote.
Hello, good morning. Okay, Chinedu. Good morning, sir. Thank you very much. All right, let's get right to it. Adeolu, good morning, sir. Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much, Emeka Victor. Good morning. I like that, Victor. Good morning. Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, traders. And again, you're just joining us for the very first time too. Good morning to you, Saz and Mars. It's great to have you join us today. I hope we're doing very well. It's another brand new trading week. And again, this is our morning market review. Pemski, good morning. This session holds every Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. Every day, you get to meet with our top analysts on a daily basis. And as I always say, this is also with the hope that when you have listened long enough, you also expect that you'll be able to come up with your own profitable strategies that would give you an edge over the markets. So on this forum every day, we get to look at what's going on in the markets in terms of fundamentals and technicals. Uh, with this, we also hope that we'll be able to pick a few entries and trade ideas, especially for today and even for the rest of the week as well. So let's get right to it without further ado. Usually I like to start with the majors. Here's with USD. And from there, we start examining other pairs as we'll be watching for trade opportunities and the assets that we can also add to our watch list for the rest of the week. Let's quickly check if we have uh, high impact news. Very quickly, let's head over to Forex Factory with preferred economic calendar to see the high impact news events that may impact prices for today. So I'm going to head straight to forexfactory.com. Just a minute while I do that. Idris Badamasi says he can't hear me clearly. Is that true for every other person? Or is it just peculiar to Idris? How is the audio, please? Is it good? Okay, thank you very much. So Idris, you may have to check your end. All right, thank you. Thank you, sir. Emeka and Chinedu. Okay, so I have our first factory up. Um, let me refresh this. Okay, and then apply filter. Okay, it's already applied. All right. I believe you can see my screen. I have Forex Factory displayed. So today, Tuesday, the 5th day of November, and without doubt, what we're probably paying the most attention to for today will be the elections. This will help us to have a deep understanding on what future policies will look like. We have the US presidential race between Democratic candidate Kamala Harris and almighty Donald Trump. It is believed that, according to consensus, if Trump wins, going by his inflationary policies, you can see gold accelerate all the way to 2,900, while a Harris victory will bring a temporary dip as current policies will just continue. Okay, we'll see that how that translates to on the chart. We already had this earlier for Australian dollar, 3:45 p.m. for US dollar final services PMI. 4 p.m. we have services PMI as well, and then all day today we're going to have the presidential election as well as the congressional elections, and then later in the day, 10:45 p.m. We have employment change for New Zealand dollar, and then we also have unemployment rate for New Zealand dollar as well. And then, of course, we also have the Federal Reserve interest rate decision coming up on Monday, which is also, coming up on Thursday, which is also very important. The rate cut of 0.25% is expected, and the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, his commentary or speech after the rate cut decision will also provide further insight into the Fed's economic outlook and future rate paths. And again, according to consensus, there is almost 100% probability assigned to the rate cut. So it's almost likely that we're going to see a rate cut on Thursday. Okay, but of course, we're going to focus on what we have for today. And the biggest, like I said, is the US presidential elections. All right, so let's head over to MT4 to see what this translates to in terms of technicals. So I'm going to switch to MT4 right away. All right, it just says very clear. Thank you very much, Matt. Idris, I hope it's sorted now. Okay, what's going on here? All right, so like I said, I'd like to start with the majors, and in starting with the majors, this is the very first one we're going to look at. This is the USD index. As I usually say, with the USD index, once we can understand the direction here for the USD index, one can easily apply this to the rest of the major pairs, including indices and gold as well, commodity. Okay, so what do we have here from a technical standpoint? Okay, so let me also reiterate that for a while now, I've been highlighting this level for us. That is the area here. Here below 100.5. Here again below 100.5. Okay. Now, if you look back, this was early 2023, beginning of 2023, and then since that time, you could see how this level here at 100.5, I pointed this out for quite a number of times now on this forum, and if you have been following, this should no longer be strange to you. Okay, so this level here at 100.5, how it has supported price since the beginning of 2023. Again, this is the USD index on the daily time frame. We're going to use the daily time frame to understand the overall direction so that when we head over to 15 minutes or lesser, we understand what we are trading in terms of direction. Okay, so on the daily time frame, we're going to understand the overall direction, and then when we tune down to 15 minutes or any other lower preferred time frame, we're looking for entry opportunity. Okay, so here during this period, middle of 2023, so I said that since the beginning of 2023, this level around 100.5 has supported price. And then middle of 2023, price fell below that level and then almost immediately closed back above it. And then we had this rally all the way to that high around 106.5. Okay, so what it means is that the whole of the price level here was a fake out. And when you see fake outs like this, a breakout that failed, usually it triggers an aggressive move in the opposite direction. So we got the fake out right here, and then the next thing we see was this aggressive move in the opposite direction towards the high at 106.5. Fast forward to end of 2023, price returns to that same 100.5, and then we got another rally back to 106.5, and again from 106.5, we turned to 100.5 recently. Price even closing below that level and then gave us a similar pattern to what we saw middle of 2023 right here. So this is what we have at this current level. And again, this also is a fake out similar to here. And then as expected, an aggressive move in the opposite direction. Okay, so this is daily time frame, and then let me zoom. Now, of course, because of the election that we have, this has been mostly sideways. Now, resistance here at 104.5, support here at 103.5. You can see how price has stayed within this range for quite a number of days now. It's been stuck within this range, and I believe the outcome of the election would to a great extent determine where this breaks out to a very large extent. All right. On 4 hours, what do we have? Okay, you see this trend line here and how it supported price, and eventually price broke below it, and then 103.5, and we saw on daily, is also acting as support for price. So this kind of boils down to which direction we get a breakout. Okay, so what it means is that the price breaks towards the downside, then you will see a bearish continuation. And again, it is also expected because if you look at this aggressive rally right here, look at this move. Look at this move right here. You could see we haven't really gotten any decent pullback. We haven't really seen any decent pullback. It's been quite shallow. So it won't be a bad idea if we get some much deeper pullback, and then we see price continue a bullish move. All right. So this is for the dollar index again. So like I said, it boils down to whether we get it close below this support for price to move lower towards 102.6, and then, or if we get a close above the resistance at 104.5, and then we can expect continuation, a bullish continuation like that. Okay, so what does this mean for euro dollar? What does this mean for euro dollar? This is A on and then Winston. Good morning to you, sir. Yes, we're going to get to USD card in a minute. Okay. But it's really going to help if we understand the direction of the dollar index. In Emeka Longinos, what is the relationship between the USD index and other USD pairs? Okay. Now the USD index, once you understand its direction, once you understand the direction, whether bullish or bearish, then it helps you to understand how to approach the USD pairs. For example, if you have USD card, for example, if you have USD card, for example, and then you understand where this USD is going, whether up or down, then you know how to trade USD card. For example, if it's going up, if you analyze the USD index and it's bullish, that means that you'll be looking for buy opportunities on a pair like USD card. And then on a pair like Euro USD, in this pair now, USD is the counter currency. So what it means is that if you understand where this dollar is going to, whether bullish or bearish, then you'll be able to know exactly what to do with Euro USD. So if this dollar now is bearish, that means you will be buying Euro USD. If dollar is bullish here, it means that you'll be selling Euro USD. So that's why, as much as possible, we try to understand the direction of the dollar index. Okay, now this is Euro USD, and then if you look at this trend line here, it dates back to 2023 too, this trend line, and then it has supported price quite a number of times. For example, if you look at where it started here as support, fast forward to here as support too, this period right here to support, and then most recently also got it back here. Okay, so when price retested this trend line, of course, I knew that we would get some reaction on that trend line, and then price pushed higher on that level. Now, this push higher is now sitting at resistance. It's now sitting at resistance. How do I know it's a resistance? To further confirm that, you can just look back a little bit to see if that same level impacted price in the past. And if we continue to look, we'll see multiple touches at that level. See it there, even here as resistance, even here as resistance as well. And then if we continue to go back, we'll see multiple points to confirm why this level is quite significant at 1.09. Okay, so what does that mean? So what does that mean now? So let's head over to 15 minutes. Okay, the 15 minutes time frame, this is what we have. This is the resistance here that we saw on daily, and then this is the support right here. And currently price is there and also above the 50 period moving average. So this because it is above the 50 period moving average on 15 minutes, this signifies some strength. This signifies some strength. And again, it is expected because price went back to that trend line that I showed us on the daily time frame. And then we also have this trend line on 15 minutes. Okay, so this boils down to whether we continue to get a push to the upside back at 1.09. And eventually, if we get a close above 1.09, then we may expect further push to the upside for Euro USD. And then on the other hand, if we get a close below this trend line, if what we get is a close below this trend line on this 15 minutes time frame, then we can expect price to continue to push to the downside and then towards support level at 1.08. That's the expectation I have for Euro USD. That's the expectation I have for the Euro USD. Currently, it is bullish, and like I said, we expect this because if you look at daily time frame, price came back to the support level and then it started pushing to the upside from that level, approaching resistance at 1.09, approaching resistance at 1.09. And then if we head back to 15 minutes, on the 15 minutes time frame now, we have this trend line, and then price here is also above this 50 period moving average, So for that reason, we could see more push to the upside towards back towards the resistance at 1.09, and then eventually if we get a close above that level, we can see further push to the upside. What would change this to a bearish bias for me, especially on this 15 minutes time frame, will be a close below this trend line, and then I can take myself from there. That's for Euro USD. Okay. So now for Pound USD now, again on the daily time frame, and then of course this is very much similar to Euro USD. And for Pound USD, if you look at this trend line too, dates back to let's see if we can extend it to this period. Oh, that's it now. Okay. So from this level now, sometime in April, started sometime in April, and that level also, just like we saw for Euro USD, has supported price multiple times. A few pips to the level here, then back here to a support. Even here, our support as well. Okay, so currently, this is to highlight why that level is important, especially for this trend line. Okay, so now, price came back to the trend line here recently. We got a close below it with this red candle, but currently price is back above that trend line. And then we have support here. Sorry, we have this resistance here at 1.3. We have resistance here at 1.3 price level. This level here. Again, to confirm how significant it is, you can look back to see if it has impacted price in the past. So we have it here. Again here as resistance. All right. So that's enough. So what does this mean? Eventually, this will also boil down to whether we get a close below the trend line or a close above the trend line. sorry, above the resistance at 1.3. Again, this is quite choppy, almost stuck within this resistance at 1.3, and then this trend line. Okay, so eventually it will boil down to whether we get a close above the resistance or below this trend line. If we get a close below this trend line, then we can expect further push to the downside towards level like 1.285 and maybe 1.27. On the other hand, if what we get is a close above the resistance, then it won't be surprising to see price push back towards this resistance at 1.31 400. On 15 minutes, let's see what we have. Okay, so again on 15 minutes, you can see this bullish move as well, similar to what we have for USD. Okay, so this bullish move now, it continues to push to the upside. We'll be expecting some reaction at this 1.3 resistance level. If eventually price closes above 1.3, then we may expect further push to the upside. However, similar to what we saw for Euro-USD, if we get a close below the trend line, then we're expecting price to push to the downside. All right. So that's for pound USD. Let's quickly look at USD CAD. Let's quickly look at USD CAD before I go back to NZD/USD and USD/GBP right here. All right, this is USD CAD on the daily time frame. Again, the daily time frame is to understand the overall direction, because we're looking for what would guide your trading decision. Okay, so on the daily time frame, okay, before that, let me show us this on the weekly time frame. This is the weekly time frame for USD CAD, and then on the weekly time frame, we see this range. We see this range, bucket at support, back to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, back to support. You see, kind of ranging market right there. Okay, and currently, if you look at what we have, price is now above the resistance of that range. Price is now above the resistance of this range. Now, the high is around 1.38660. The high of that range, is around 1.38660. And currently, price is above that level. And what we currently have, price has also pushed back to that level, or is approaching that high. So for USD CAD, what I'll be looking out for is, of course, price got to this high, and then we started seeing this bearish move. So eventually, if we get a close below this resistance turn support now, of course, it used to be resistance. We look back, like I pointed to us, even on the weekly time frame, it used to be resistance. Now that price is above it, it has turned to support. So for USD CAD, for this bearish move now, if eventually we see a close below this level, get a close below this level, then that would signify a push to the downside towards level like 1.38 and maybe towards 1.3650. So it boils down to whether we get a close below this support level at 1.38660. What that also means is that as soon as price gets to this level, of course, we can also expect to see some reaction from this level. It's possible that price returns to this support, and then the bullish move continues from that level. So we need to wait for a much more decisive move right here. So let's get over to 15 minutes to see what it looks like. Okay, so on 15 minutes time frame, price is below the 50 period moving average. Price is below the 50 period moving average, and that signifies weakness. Signifies weakness. Okay, so again here, we get a retest back at this level, and then price continues the bearish move from that level. So for USD CAD now, currently below 50 period moving average, so we may see price come back to that level. We see price come back to the 50 period moving average. We test it as resistance, and then the bearish move continues from that point. That's how I'll be approaching USD CAD back towards the support at 1.38660. Okay. For Chinedu, it depends on what you are looking for. For me, I like to combine the trend line and the 50 period moving average. The 50 period moving average is to check whether it is bearish or bullish. Price above the 50 period moving average is bullish, price below it is bearish. And then if you now see price break below a trend line while bearish, that further strengthens the bearish bias that you already have based on the 50 period moving average. So what that means is that for Chinedu now, price below the 50 period moving average, below it signifies weakness, And then if price now breaks below a trend line, for example, let's say this. For example, let's say we have a trend line like this. Here, price is below the 50 period moving average. If price now breaks below the trend line, again, then that would further strengthen the bearish bias that we have because of the 50 period moving average. Okay, now let's look at Euro AUD. Now for Euro AUD, I remember on this forum, I showed us this inverse head and shoulder. Here we have the head, right here. Here we have the left shoulder, and right here we have the right shoulder. Now, in itself, the inverse head and shoulder is a bullish reversal pattern. And I also told us that what would now confirm the bullish move would be a break above the neckline. And then the neckline was here at the time, this level here, the neckline. So eventually we got a break above that neckline, and then this was a fantastic move. I don't know how many of us took this trade. It delivered, let's check it again. Right, delivered over 200 pips, after we got a break of that neckline. It was a very fantastic opportunity. And then if you look at what happened here, we've identified the red shoulder. Sorry, I said the red shoulder, the white shoulder here at this level, the leg shoulder at this level. And look at what happened here. Price broke again below this support, the right shoulder, broke below it, and then because of this bearish move, price should have continued to push lower. So for example, this is what that means. We got a break below that support. We got a lower high. Ideally, we should have seen a lower low. If this bearish move were to continue. But what happened? Price stopped at the same level. And then eventually closed back above that support. So what it again means is that the whole of the price level here was a fake out. And then, like I pointed to us earlier, fake outs like this do give us an aggressive move in the opposite direction. And then we got this aggressive move all the way to 1.66 level. Okay, so what do we now have currently? Price pushed back to 1.66 resistance, and then we're seeing this bearish move currently. All right, so let's check 15 minutes, and then I'm going to introduce again the 2-period moving average. Okay, so again, you see price below the 50-period moving average. This signifies weakness. And then if you look at what we have on the daily, price came back to the resistance, and then it's beginning to push the downside from that level. And that's why we have this bearish move of 15 minutes. Okay. So how do I trade this? How do I trade this on the 15 minutes time frame? Okay, so we have this price level here, which is support for price. Okay, so at this current level now, you may see price push to the upside, maybe to retest the 50-period moving average, and then the bearish move continues. The bearish move continues. However, if we don't have that, and then eventually what we see is a break below this support level here, then price may just continue to push to the downside from that level. This is for Euro AUD now, Euro AUD. Which asset is this? USD JPY. Okay, so let's go back to it. USD JPY. Okay. Now for USD JPY, this level here is quite significant. How do I know that? For this bullish move that started, this dates back to end of 2022, around November 2022. Started seeing series of higher highs and higher lows up until a few pips above 160, this level here. See, price pushed to that resistance level. And then you see how this trend line has impacted price. Price has tested it multiple times as support, Eventually, we got a break below it right here. And then again, we use FIBO to measure that move. You can see also that this level is sitting right on the golden level at 61.8. When I saw this, I knew that price would become bullish from this point. Okay, so let me take out that FIBO just to highlight why this level is quite significant. Okay, and then you also look at this trend line. As resistance, and then eventually we got this aggressive close above the trend line, and then from that level, you see price breaking above the trend line, and also above the 50-period moving average. Again, this signifies strength. And then what do we have after that? We got an aggressive move back towards this resistance for USD JPY. Okay, so at this resistance now, at 153.4 price level. So currently, see what's happening here. Price is stuck between 153.40 and 152. See, we have this sideways movement. So this is going to come down to whether we get a close below 152 or a close above 153.4. Now, this is the daily time frame to understand the expectation and the direction here. Now, let's check what this looks like on the 15 minutes time frame. Now, don't forget, look at the daily. Price got to this resistance, and then we're seeing this bearish move on the daily time frame. This bearish move is also close to support level at 152. Okay, so 15 minutes. On 15 minutes, again, price is below the 50-period moving average, and also below this trend line. You see, below the 50-period moving average, and then price closed below this trend line, now below this 50-period moving average. So what it means is that we may get a push back to the price level here at 152. We get a push back to 152. But in the event that what we have is a close back above this trend line, then this trend line will be acting as resistance for price. This is 15 minutes time frame now. Will be acting as resistance for price. Okay. And this is for USD JPY, 15 minutes time frame. If you look at US 30, US 100, now, US 30 first. Now, during one of the sessions here, at that time, price was just breaking below the trend line here. Say this trend line, very significant. This is H4 time frame now as support. A few pips to it right there. Back here as support. And then back here as support. And then eventually we got an aggressive break below the trend line. And of course, that signifies weakness. And then if you also look at what happened with the 50-period moving average here, we saw price also below the 50-period moving average. And then eventually we saw this aggressive move to the downside. Very, very fantastic trade opportunity if you took it with us. Okay, and then if you look at the move here, fantastic structure, series of lower highs and lower lows right there. Series of lower highs and lower lows up until this low. Okay, so having said that, this is 4,200. This is 4,200, which is also a significant level for US 30. Because if you look at what happened back here, quite significant, say, and currently price is below the 50-period moving average and also below this level at 4,200. Okay, this is H4 now. On 15 minutes, what do we have? Okay, so on 15 minutes, this is what we have. Again, price is below the 50-period moving average. And then let's see if we can connect a trend line here. Fantastic. You see, have it here as support, right here as support as well. And currently, price is below the trend line. See how it's giving and strengthening the bearish bias that we have. Price is below 4,200, below the trend line, below the 50-period moving average. So all this points to weakness. All this points to weakness. So it is expected that we see a further push to the downside. What would invalidate this would be a close back above the trend line. A close back above the trend line. All right, so that's for irrespective. I think we should look at gold. I think we should look at gold too. Now let's see this. Now remember what we have here on Euro AUD, H4 time frame. We saw inverse head and shoulder. The head right here, the left shoulder, and then the right shoulder. Now, if we look at gold, again on the H4 time frame, you would see that here we have head and shoulder opposite of what we saw on Euro AUD. Now, for gold on the H4 time frame, I'm going to highlight it to us. Here we have the head, and then here we have the left shoulder, and then here we have the right shoulder. Okay, while the inverse head and shoulder that we saw on Euro AUD is a bullish reversal pattern. You see Euro AUD, head and shoulder right here, and then price pushed to this resistance aggressively. Now on gold, this is opposite. So what it means is that this is the bearish version. So here, and this is H4 time frame, we have the head, we have the left shoulder, and then we have the right shoulder. Again, don't forget, like I pointed out for Euro AUD, for Euro AUD, what would confirm the bullish move would be a break, or what confirmed it at the time for Euro AUD was this bullish break above the neckline here for this inverse head and shoulder. The head here, the left shoulder here, the right shoulder here, and then we have this resistance here, which is the neckline. And then what confirms the bullish move was a break above that resistance. Now, if we relate this to gold, here we have the head, here we have the left shoulder, here we have the left shoulder, here we have the right shoulder. And for gold, this would be the neckline, this range here. Okay, this range here would be the neckline for gold. So what does that mean? That means that if we get a close below the neckline, then we're also going to see an aggressive move to the downside for gold. We're also going to see an aggressive move to the downside for gold. Now, this is from a technical standpoint. What would invalidate this? This is happening on the 4 hours time frame now. And then we can also see on this time frame that price is currently trading below the 50-period moving average. And what would invalidate this would be if eventually we get a close back above the shoulders. Get a close back above the shoulders, it invalidates this move. And it could also give us a fake out, similar to what we saw here. Back here on Euro AUD, the neckline here at 1.62 level, the neckline right here, and then ideally we should have seen a break. The support here, the neckline was here because of this move that we have here. So the neckline was here for Euro AUD. So like I said, what would confirm that bullish move would be a break of the neckline, and then we got that eventually. If you look at what happened here, where we saw a break of the shoulder, say we got price, we saw price closing below the shoulders, and then eventually this gave us a fake out. This gave us a fake out. When price closed below that level, we should have continued to push to the downside, but that didn't happen. Price eventually closed back above the two shoulders level, and then that was the beginning of the bullish move. So we may get a similar scenario playing out here for gold. We have identified the head, we have the left shoulder, we have the right shoulder. So eventually, if we get it close below the neckline, get it close below the neckline, that is what we confirm the bearish move. That's what we confirm the bearish move. And then it's possible we get an aggressive move to the downside. And if, on the other hand, we get it close above, we see a close above, then we should also get a follow through. Price should continue to push higher. Otherwise, if price close back above the shoulders and then back below the shoulder almost immediately, then that would also mean that we get a fake out here, and then price now becomes bearish from that level. This is one that I'll be looking out for to see how this plays out eventually. If we can get, if I see something similar to the pattern on Euro AUD, then it would be my trigger to trade gold. My trigger to trade gold. Yeah, if you also treat it as double bottom, that's also correct as well. That's also correct. But like I said, for Euro AUD, this is also a double bottom, which is fantastic. Also a double bottom. And then for double bottoms like this, we also expect an aggressive move. Again, if you're also treating it as a fake out, it's also not wrong. Price closed below that level. Ideally, after this pullback, we got this high, we got this low, we got this lower high, then ideally we should have seen a lower low. But that did not happen. It stopped at this level, which is also a double bottom, like Madam Oji said, and then from that level, it pushed higher. Okay, so I'll be looking out for what we eventually see on gold. What we eventually see on gold. Okay, let's look at oil before we call it a day. On daily time frame. Now, for oil, I also remember highlighting this trend line for us. One of the sessions here, I highlighted this trend line. And if you look at what happened here, price closed below the trend line, and this was not sustained. Ideally, it closed below this trend line. This should have continued to move to the downside. It should have continued to push lower from that level. But what do we have? We got it closed back above the trend line. So what it means is that the whole of the price level here give us a fake out, a breakout that failed. And again, moves like this usually creates a fantastic move in the market. So what we expect to see here would be an aggressive move in the opposite direction, And then recently, the OPEC nations still came together and they decided that we're going to cut oil production by, I think, over 2 million barrels per day. And again, that is also expected to be bullish for oil, because if it's a cut, then what that means is that there will be scarcity, and then price would become higher, would increase in value. Okay, now currently we have the 50-period moving average acting as resistance. So this boils down to if this bullish move can be sustained above the 50-period moving average. Above the 50-period moving average, and then above this level, price level at 77. Now let's head over to 15 minutes to see what it looks like. Okay, so on 15 minutes time frame, we already have price above the 50 period moving average. Okay, so let's see if we can connect a trend line to on 15 minutes. Okay, so now on 15 minutes time frame, we have this price above the 50 period moving average and then just breaking above this trend line on 15 minutes. Okay, so at the end of this 15 minutes, the price stays above the trend line. Price stays above the trend line. Then we continue to see further push to the upside towards the 77 level resistance. Towards the 77 resistance. All right, so that's for oil. That's for oil. And that's how I'm going to be approaching this trade. Okay, and I'm sure by the time we come back here, you see how this eventually plays out. We would also do want to mention it when we return here for continuation. All right, this is a good place to draw the curtain for today. We have quite a number of assets that we can add to our watch list for today, including trade opportunities that we've been able to spot. And then don't forget, all eyes will be on the outcome of the US presidential elections. Okay, and of course, we may see increased movement, we may see volatility, right on the on different markets as a result of the elections. Okay, so this is where we draw the curtain for today. Thank you very much for joining. It's been a great time talking to us. Don't forget, this session, the Money Market Review, continues tomorrow, same time from 8 a.m. Do well to join us as we continue to check out instruments, assets that are moving the markets and how to approach them. Thank you very much for joining once again. It's been a great time talking to us. Have a great trading day.